Okay, so I think today we're going to talk a little bit about color. You all already did, most of you anyway, did your color wheels already and the grayscale that accompanied them, but I wanted to kind of talk about why it's really good to be able to create a color wheel, at least preliminarily, where it's not like you're just going into a painting without any knowledge of color at all. So making a color wheel, even though it seems kind of kindergarten-y stuff, is a good place to start. So I've already kind of put our primary colors here. Primary colors are defined by, well, largely that the fact that they can't be mixed. They can't be made like brown and purple and grays can be made, and greens, right? I mean, you can't make any of these colors. So from these colors, you can make all the other colors. I'm actually going to go ahead and use purple between cadmium red and ultramarine blue because I don't know, to me they just don't really make a very good purple without using white, and technically in a color wheel when you're talking about hues you want to avoid using white, so I'm just going to go ahead and use purple in this demonstration. And I think a lot of you went ahead and used purple in yours as well, so that's cool. Alright, so I'm going to start at the top of the wheel, and I'm going to go over to the palette, and I get some red, and I'm just going to make a really light orangey red, right about here. And the idea is to get to bring this hue down all the way to the red, to the point where it looks basically red. You should have your yellow kind of, I like to have it a little bit more indistinguishable from the mother color here. Alright. Then I'm going to go over here, get a little bit more red, and then you just start kind of going down just the way you guys did it. That's kind of I want that to be just a little bit more orange. Cadmium yellow, this is cadmium yellow lemon hue, which is really, really transparent, so it's a really super weak color, right? So, my stinking cat is in the way, excuse me. So it's a really weak color, so you may have to use more of it. I did anyway. Oh jeez. Oh. That's great. She's very annoying, very sweet too, but very annoying. Alright, so then this area is gonna be occupied by basically what will be largely indistinguishable from red, but I do want to get it a little bit softened on the red side. So I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit more yellow, even though this yellow is really weak, but I just needed a little bit of difference there. Alright. So that's the spectrum from red to yellow, right? Kind of a simplified spectrum, but that's okay. And then we can go down. I'll just keep going across here because my brush is full of red anyway. I'm going to take some red and bring it down here. Alright. And then I'm going to take some of my actual purple. This is magenta, quinacridone magenta. Just going to mix it. The magenta initially is going to darken the red, deepen it, make it nicer. It's really nice to have. You go away, go away. I need a spray bottle. All right. Now we have a red that looks just a little bit darker, right? So I'm gonna grab a little bit more magenta, bring it down over here. Magenta, as you can see, the interaction in color here is actually much different than it was with the yellow, right? The yellow was super weak, right? The magenta is a pretty strong color. It's a pretty heavy, opaque color. So it's definitely holding on its own here. I do want to red it up just a little bit. It doesn't take a whole lot more magenta to fight down the red. And then go ahead and this is where the magenta is just going to be allowed to be magenta. So that part was easy. Oh geez, what a mess. I'm going to get a paper towel real quick because I'm making a ginormous mess. Oh geez, alright. So then, from here, I'm going to start taking my ultramarine blue into some of my magenta. And all the ultramarine blue is doing is cooling off the magenta. The magenta is a really warm color, like in the, it would be considered a pretty warm color, akin to red. So, and in the video, I think that probably looks like a brown. But it's okay, really, I guess. I'm gonna lighten it up just a little bit more. Blue is gonna darken it down, just to be expected, I suppose. And then we'll go up here where we have this warmer blue shade that can kind of just branch off into blue. Yeah, they're pretty closely related. I would say they're pretty much one shade apart. There are wheels out there that artists play around with, and they're very, very closely related. And you have 6 on one side and 6 on the other side, but it's it's a little bit more intense in the way they do it. All right, so then I'm gonna go up here and put some blue. And as you can expect, this is gonna be our green spectrum. So we have a lovely emerald green. It's quite lovely. I'm going to bring it up here too, so I can go ahead and just quickly set up for lightening it. Go all the way up here just to get it kind of quickly on. Over here, to add some pretty aggressive yellow in there to get this shade closer to yellow. And I'm going to grab some here. Maybe a little too much yellow. Green in general is a pretty weak color if you mix it with colors that give you a true green anyway. Ultramarine is a pretty good color for delivering a pretty straightforward green. I only ended up with 3 shades of green, but that's okay. There's kind of 3 shades of all of them, right? We have this could be kind of considered a spectrum of yellows here, and this could be a spectrum of orange, and then we go down to the red purples, the deeper sort of blues. All right, so that's basically a color wheel. So the idea is, by doing this, what you hopefully learned was that you don't need to complicate your palette. You can actually just do everything, all the colors you need, and any painting you could be doing could be created just from these colors. So a lot of students, I find, really complicate matters when they try and just take every color off the cart in the art room and just use it, thinking that's going to make their lives easier because they can avoid mixing. Well, that tends to create a very chaotic color scheme in your painting, especially when you don't even remember what colors you may have used, right? If you're only using the yellow, the red, the purple, and the blue, then you can kind of keep track of your own progress and where you're going. So anyway, that's the color wheel.